Things just took a major turn for the New York Knicks, as with multiple star players injured, Josh Hart has now revealed the truth on his knee injury. Meanwhile, there is an update to Karl-Anthony Towns as well, after Tom Thibodeau put Towns in a game that was effectively over, despite the fact that Towns had just hurt his knee, and we're going to break all of this down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into things as always. And if you're part of that 69% that's not subscribed and you're enjoying the content, make sure to subscribe. This is the place to be for all Knicks content. We have a ton of fun here. You don't want to miss out. But let's jump into this because Josh Hart got put in a position where he was going to miss some games. And yes, I know that's Tom Thibodeau, but Josh Hart missed a few games, and then Tom Thibodeau got him right back to regularly scheduled programming in a high-minute game where Josh Hart played very well, showing that he is okay at the end of the day. However, a lot of fans have been wondering what the deal with Josh Hart's knee injury is, which is effectively tendonitis, and we're going to take a dive into that because Josh Hart himself actually spoke on it and gave the full truth behind the injury, and it is a pretty surprising update that none of us have heard before. Now, taking a look into things, Josh Hart mentioned that his knee injury, that tendonitis, it's something that comes and goes, something that he's managed for a long time. He said, one time when I was in the bubble during the pandemic with New Orleans, I would play, and the next day I couldn't even really get to half court. It was a pain. It was a struggle for me to even jog to half court. Now I'm playing 48 minutes for Tom Thibodeau, so there's peaks and valleys with it. Not really worried about it. All the time, I pray for it before every game. By his grace, I'm healed, so I go out there and I play my game. Now, when Josh Hart said I played 48 minutes for Tom Thibodeau, I think it's very important to mention this is not Josh Hart hating on Tom Thibodeau. This is two things. It's one, Josh telling a joke because he's very anti-minutes police thing. I know I minutes police things. I get it, and I understand that if you're a player, you'd be upset with it too. You're very happy to play as many minutes as your coach is going to allow you to play. Josh Hart wants to play. He doesn't want to not play. He doesn't want to sit on the bench. He wants to be in the game playing. I mean, anyone who plays rec basketball even is like, I don't want to sit on the bench. I want to play. I want to go out there and play basketball. So the players, they're not going to have a problem with this. It's fans. It's people who watch the game. Fans, analysts, insiders, people who are watching this thinking this is probably not a good idea. Because when you're playing in the NBA, yes, you know basketball better than me. Of course you do. You're in the NBA. I'm sitting in my bedroom. But at the same time, you get this thing in your head where it's like, I'm not thinking about the future right now. I'm thinking about right now because I'm trying to win this game because I'm a competitive monster. So you kind of forget about that. And I think Tom Thibodeau does the same thing. He overplays his guys because he wants to win every single game. The problem is it's not always the best idea because it's a long season. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And Tom Thibodeau has failed with that before. So it is very, very worrisome in situations like this specifically. Now, at the same time, I understand that Josh is also saying he plays 48 minutes for Tibbs because Josh likes to mess with Tom Thibodeau. They just like to mess around with each other. They joke at each other all the time. If you watch the Roommates podcast with the episode with Tom Thibodeau, you could see they genuinely like Tibbs so much. They care about him. He's very, very close with his players, and he wants to rip on Tibbs because it's fun. Josh Hart's always making fun of Tibbs. I mean, he literally called Tibbs ugly on the podcast. It was... The two have a lot of fun together. So this is not Josh Hart hating on Tibbs. I want to make that a specific point. But on top of things here, Josh also said, I felt like there was a couple more days of rest that obviously would benefit my knee. So that's something that we all came to an agreement on. Now it's back to regularly scheduled programming. That's why he missed those first two games. That's why Josh Hart did not play in those first two games after the All-Star break. Came back against Boston, balled out, nearly had a triple-double. Did Josh Hart things, 20 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists. Doing what Josh Hart does all the time. The man has become the Knicks' third best player. There's no doubt about it. He's borderline all-star, phenomenal. There's not much else you could say about Josh Hart. It's all just good stuff. But Josh, he does have this knee problem that is reoccurring. And that was actually revealed that it's been a reoccurring knee injury. A reoccurring injury, you could just shorten it to. But it's been reoccurring, and this is not something that I honestly feel better about this now, hearing about this, because it was revealed that this is something that Josh just deals with. I mean, it was mentioned by Stefan Bondy that while he was on the Lakers in 2019, Josh Hart had a pallet-rich plasma injection in his right knee, then underwent an ultrasonic debridement procedure on his patella tendon that ended his season in the NBA that year, his second NBA season. According to the LA Times, Hart dealt with tendonitis in his knee for years before undergoing that procedure. For years, meaning it's been nearly 10 years that Josh Hart just has a knee that's prone to tendonitis. Tendonitis is one of those things, once you get it, it's a lot easier for it to come back. This is something that Josh Hart just deals with. This is life as a professional athlete. You think you're going to be playing college basketball and then NBA basketball for over 10 years and not have some bodily issues? You absolutely are going to. It doesn't matter the sport you play, you're going to have injuries. It's just part of it. I mean, look at NFL legend Drew Brees, who said when he plays with his kids, he throws the football left-handed. Drew Brees, a career righty, throws the football left-handed to his kids because he had a dislocated shoulder in his right arm, dislocated his right shoulder, and played on it, and now has arthritis. Do you think he regrets it? The man's a Hall of Famer, Super Bowl winner, one of the all-time great athletes in history of the New Orleans Saints and in history of the NFL in general, some of the most passing yards of all time. I think Drew Brees won. I think he won in life. He's a professional athlete whose kids are never going to have to work a day in their lives. So they probably will, but they don't have to, is what I'm saying. Josh Hart's in a similar position. Yeah, he's got a knee injury. It's going to be reoccurring. It doesn't mean it's the end of the world. It's definitely something the Knicks have to be careful with, though. If we know one thing for sure about Tom Thibodeau, it's that he's going to have no qualms playing Josh Hart an insane amount of minutes, especially in the playoffs. And I like that Josh plays a ton of minutes in the playoffs. The man, as Steve Kerr put it, he doesn't play a position. His position is winner. Josh Hart just leads to winning games. So what do? You play Josh Hart, play him 44 minutes per game. Play him 48 minutes in a game 7. I don't care. Do it. Don't do it in the regular season, Tibbs. However, Tibbs is already overplaying the guys enough in the regular season where I don't expect it to stop now. Though, the bright side is Mitchell Robinson does appear to be coming back, and that gives him another guy to put in their rotation. Mitch might play in the literal next Knicks game on February 26th against the Philadelphia 76ers. Mitch is officially day-to-day. Stay tuned for the update. We'll be sure to drop that, so make sure you subscribe to the channel for when that happens. But no, the video is not over. I know I usually say it at the end, but just making sure you guys know that we're going to give you a Mitch update very, very soon. Also, some other updates that are going to be fun, so you guys just want to be subscribed. But we have something else to talk about as well, which is none other than Karl-Anthony Towns, who obviously hurt his knee and ran out and lied on the bench and then was laying down in abysmal pain, goes back to the locker room, and then Tibbs puts him back in when the game's over. Why? Because Tibbs is absolutely nuts. So, that's an issue. Now, here's the difference between Josh Hart and Karl-Anthony Towns. One of them is 6'4", and one of them is 7 feet tall. There's a difference in knee injuries per height. Now, Josh Hart gets away with it a lot, and Hart's putting up 15 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists per game this season because he's a borderline all-star. I mean, 55% from the field, 34% from three. I know I'm rounding a few of these numbers up, but it's basically the same thing anyway. And look, honestly, on top of the 1.5 steals, he's been one of the best point of attack defenders as well. Josh Hart does have to stay healthy for the playoffs, and I imagine he'll miss some more games throughout the final stretch of this season as he just makes sure his knee is good to go for the playoffs. Josh Hart's very smart. He is more calculated than people truly believe. So I could see him missing a few more games with this knee injury, and I expect him to a little bit. Karl-Anthony Towns is a bit of a different story as well because Towns provides a ton of scoring for the Knicks, putting up 25 points per game, 13.5 rebounds. He's by far the best rebounder on the Knicks, at least with Mitchell Robinson being out. He's still better than Mitch at rebounding, but it's closer in that case. 3 assists per game as well. Nearly 1 block per game, getting a steal per game, shooting 43% from 3 and 53% from the field while shooting 43% on corner threes as well. Karl-Anthony Towns is having one of the best seasons of his NBA career, arguably the best season of his NBA career. And with Towns right now, it's definitely a concern about his knee. And what did Towns say on it? He said, "They wanted me to be examined. I just wanted to get a walk in and come back. We'll just see how the next couple of days will go. Time will tell." That's concerning. We're just going to see how the next couple of days will go. Time will tell. No, I don't think it's a serious injury. Here's the one thing. The one bright side to Tibbs putting in Karl-Anthony Towns. Most of it was stupid. Actually, it was all stupid. Scratch that. One thing is a positive there. It means he didn't seriously injure his knee, or he would not have been playing. They definitely took him back to the locker room, laid him down on the table, and if you've ever had a knee injury, what they do is they move your leg in a bunch of weird directions so they could tell if you tore a ligament in your knee, because either your hamstring, your quad, or your calf might go into a guard mode, which basically makes it tense up. And if you've ever injured your knee, you may have gotten that test done. It's terrifying because you know if your knee hurts in any way that it bends, it means you tore a ligament. Or you probably tore a ligament. So obviously you don't want that to happen. very, very rough moment if you're on that table. But I imagine they did that with Karl-Anthony Towns because when you grab your knee, if you're a professional athlete, they're just going to be like, we have to test, we have to do it. And it literally takes 20 seconds. So it's very plausible that they did that. Towns popped up and limped back onto the court. So it does mean that Towns' knee is definitely fine when it comes to serious injuries. However, it was clearly hurt, and Tibbs should not have put him back in. And that was really stupid by Tom Thibodeau. And I think that's a sign of it just... If Towns got hurt again, it's such a fireable offense for Tibbs to do that. I don't understand what he was thinking. I mean, Tommy Beer mentioned it. Look at the money that he's making. $53 million next year, $57 the year after, $61 the final year of the contract, all guaranteed. The Knicks are on the hook whether Towns is healthy or not, and they need him healthy. So sending Cat back out there, as Towns said, is very much mismanagement and a really, really, really indefensible move. However, the one meaning to this is that Towns will probably not be out for that long. I'd be kind of surprised to see Towns play for the rest of this week. If Mitchell Robinson's able to come back, we will see Mitch probably come off the bench anyway and have Huck Porty start just because Mitch will be on like a 15 to 20 minutes restriction. But it also means we'll get to see Ariel Huck Porty some more, which is always helpful as well. I would like Towns to miss a few games with this. Don't play injured. The Knicks need them for the playoffs. I know that the vibes are kind of negative around the Knicks right now, and I do want the final minute of this video just to talk about that. I understand that we're all kind of sad that the Knicks failed the elite test. They played the Cavs, got smacked around. They played the Celtics, got smacked around. They're the third seed. Things feel hopeless right now. I still would be shocked if they don't make the second round of the playoffs. And yeah, they're going to have to play the Celtics. And yeah, they're probably not going to win. But most likely, knock on wood, most likely, they're going to be more healthy than they were these two games against them. All hope is not lost. We have not seen the Knicks defense when it has rim protection all season. Real rim protection, not a 6'8" rim protector, a 7-foot NBA veteran rim protector in Mitchell Robinson. We have not seen that yet. So before we all go saying trade everyone, fire everyone, start over, no, not at all. Don't. Do not do that. It's gonna be fine, guys. Trust me. I know you don't have to. I know I'm just some guy talking about the Knicks on YouTube. I get it. Just give them a chance. Give this team a chance to be healthy. And if they still are getting smacked around and things look hopeless, then yes, we go into the offseason with some fear that we're well behind a team in the Celtics that's around a similar age group as the Knicks, a little bit younger, in fact, and a team in the Cavs that's younger than the Knicks as well and clearly ahead as well. Then we could start to worry. Until then, let's just pump the brakes, see how the Cavs fare in the playoffs as this team that I think still screams regular season team. On top of that, just see how they fare against the Celtics in the second round. I expect them to make it there. Everyone take a breath. It's going to be all right. Guys, like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day, and go Knicks.